Hello. Sunday evening before Good Friday. So how are you all doing? Well, I'm doing this video because really there's quite a lot of talk about twin flames, and it is a vast subject. I'm just going to talk about it from my perspective and my experiences, because it is quite profound, and there are twin souls and twin flames and da 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 da. My twin flame is in spirit, which makes it more difficult. But anyway, I just wanted to say that I came through the ordeal. Do you remember 2 or 3 times ago I did a video about the abyss and travelling through that darkness to reach the higher? Well, I must have made it because I had an experience a few weeks ago. Was it weeks ago? No, a few weeks ago. When I had the visitation from my twin flame. And I don't know, quite overwhelmed by it, to be honest, because I didn't know what it was initially. But this huge orb of white light appeared above me and showered me with this white light all around me. And this is the twin flame. I know it's a twin flame because he came to say some days later that that's what it was. I still don't fully understand it. But it's not so much a matching of another person, but the twin flame is called the alchemical marriage, and it happens actually within the self. It's the marriage between you and your higher self. It isn't so much a being. I'll read this little bit out to you because this is from a place called the Summit Lighthouse. If you want to look at that further, you can look them up. It's an organisation in America called Summit Lighthouse. I'm just going to read the first little bit because it is quite profound, and we may not understand it, but I just wanted to read it out because this is kind of the official version. There are so many versions. People say so many things on the internet and so forth, and this is from the horse's mouth, if you know what I mean. And they seem to match my experience. So he says to establish a true alchemical marriage, which is what it really is, cosmic law requires that we first define our own identity with God before we can completely unlock the spiritual potential of our twin flames. For until the twin flames achieve a certain level of mastery and oneness with their own real selves, they are often unable to cope with the weight of their negative karma, which can often be amplified by the presence of a twin flame. The twin flame seems to be a masculine. It's a polar opposite of the feminine. Doesn't matter whether you're male or female, it's the opposite. And it's a twin flame, which is the holy I am presence. When you match up with this twin flame through this alchemical marriage, you are merged then with the holy I am presence, the presence of God, as I understand it. It is quite a complex thing, but I do feel that's what happened to me. I had gone through this tremendous, I don't know, challenge, whatever, in order to achieve that mating or the marriage with the divine self. I understand that once you've made this connection, which does take many lifetimes, apparently, you sometimes meet the complement of your opposite sex on this plane. So whether I'm going to meet somebody else to help with my book publishing, which is what I desperately need. I've got books to go out. I don't have the finance, and a lot of publishers want paying, and I don't have the mental energy at the moment to do it. I've got lots of stories to go on Amazon. So this is my next project, but I do need help. I need help with somebody who's got the experience and possibly a bit of finance. so that's where I'm at, really. It does feel a very, very profound connection. It is the connection with the I am presence, God's self, more than the higher self, as I understand it. And I do feel I'm not sure I don't have conversations with spirits, but I was explaining to them how I feel. You know how we're always searching for, well, not I say not we are, I am, I don't know, just possibly we are, searching for the other half. You know, we go through all these different love affairs and connections, and it's never quite right. We're looking for the other half of ourselves. Well, this spiritual connection, that twin flame, is the opposite part of ourselves, and it is like a marriage. It's a merging of my higher bit and the other higher bit. And a song came to me, a lovely song. I've been waiting all my life to give you all my love, and the love I have never experienced experienced anything like it. As you know, because of my own lifetime and experiences, I've had very little love. This was overwhelming. I mean, it wasn't just love, it was overwhelming, and it seemed as though many lifetimes, I guess, it's taken to get to this point of being with this. I don't know where he's been all this time, doing his own thing, I guess. So it's kind of a merging of the two selves into one self, and it does feel like the two halves come together, and it is actually does feel like that, because I was saying to this being, I felt very safe. I felt very loved, and I know I'd come home. It was a feeling of coming home. I don't feel so lonely or so alone, because I've got this connection now with this other self, my other self. I have got a name, but I'm not sure about it, so I wouldn't say it anyway. But it does feel to me it's quite an achievement, especially at my age. Gosh, I've got another very high birthday coming up. I mean, there isn't that longer to go for me, I don't think, really. Although I want to get these books out first. So I'm pleased I've accomplished this before I leave, because I don't think you could do it on the inner planes. I don't know. Just hang on a minute. I just want to look at this, see what time it is. 6 minutes. So I don't know whether I could do a second video with this, because I'm just aware that there are so many people now on the internet giving their ideas of the fifth dimensional symptoms and ascension symptoms. Now, I'm already there. I'm in the fifth dimension, I know that. Whether I'm ascended or not, I think I probably have with this connection. I'm not quite sure, I'm still working on that. But it is, I think, well, maybe I should have a go and say what my symptoms have been, because I think we're getting to a time now more and more people will be experiencing them. These solar flares and CMEs are really hotting up. They're hotting up the energies, and it's bringing out a lot of very difficult, stuff for us to deal with. As you know, I've been here on my own in total isolation for 7 years. No friends, no family, just here, nipping out for shopping now and then, and just processing, being on my own, ready for this huge event, personally for me. But it's also, I think, a time of complete isolation. I had to go within to clear the mind out of the past lives and all the stuff, and it often can't be done when you've got a job to do and family. So I'm very lucky to have that time to complete this, really. So some of the symptoms have been pretty horrifying, and there was somebody on the internet the other day who channels angel messages, and I thought I had to respond because it was so accurate that it said that you will lose your memory from time to time. And of all the physical symptoms I've had, and I'm in a lot of pain a lot of the time, as you know, dizziness, nauseous, dreadful insomnia. I don't sleep for days on end. But I think this is the most difficult, was the mental one, because I was quite frightened. Because I started this, don't forget, 40 years ago, and I've been on my own for the last 30. So some of the symptoms I've been through, I've had little breakdowns. I don't call them mental breakdowns, but little breakdowns in health and mental stability. And some of these things are really quite frightening if you don't know what to do with them. I was fortunate. I think although I was expecting it, I think I did have some idea, because I've had them several times and they have been very difficult. And the one is the mental one. I used to wake up in the morning and part of me was asleep, part of me was awake, and I could watch my mind. You know how when you have these quick downloads on the computer, don't switch off, you've got to download. the speed that I was watching, like a film of all my thoughts, rapid. It lasted about half an hour. Initially I felt quite panicky because I did feel out of control. I thought, oh gosh, this is a mental thing, what do I do? So I thought, oh, just trust in my higher bit, to see me through, and had to relax into it. It did eventually pass. But if it gets really severe, I would say poetry or sing a hymn or do something to counterbalance the activity of my brain, which seemed to be rather out of control. I had to bring myself into control. So I think that was probably the worst experience. And of course the memory loss. You've seen my video about my time losing. I mean, I go sometimes for two or three hours. I don't know where I've been, what I've been doing. And it is getting a bit serious, because of course I'm getting older, I don't think it's to do with old age, although possibly it is. My memory, my short-term memory is, I sometimes don't know when I've had a shower. I think, oh, was it yesterday? I have to keep a list now of things I've done. Changing the sheets, for instance, washing and the ironing, going shopping. I think, well, gosh, I only went yesterday. Things like that, but the time is catching up on itself. So in order to feel in control, I make a list out and keep, yeah, okay, I did the sheets last week or whatever, so I got some idea that I'm in control of things and what I'm doing, especially when I'm driving, although I have lost the car a couple of times. But I think it's the memory thing that's got me more difficult, in a most difficult state of a depression, dreadful depression sometimes. And I find that once an energy has been and gone, and it comes mostly with these CMEs and solar flares, once it's given you a blast, it's left you with all this stuff, that you have to deal with. It brings it out. I had a really weird dream, which I won't tell you about because it was a bit of a sexual thing, but it was a horrible dream, and I thought, where on earth did that come from? And I've been out 2 days without sleep, 2 nights without sleep. That is frightening because you get quite panicky. What can you do at night, And I'm on my own. I put the radio on or the television on, but this isolation at night is pretty scary, to be honest. I just know I cannot go to sleep. So this dream, when I woke up this morning, I thought I'll have some breakfast. I had about an hour, I think, in the end, and I decided to go back to bed, which I did in this dream. Those sort of things, I think I've mentioned before in my dream video, they're not dreams. It's something I was needing to learn. I'd been for 2 nights, no sleep. You somehow have to go so deep within yourself and your subconscious that it drags out these weird experiences that you perhaps wouldn't know about otherwise. I've got a feeling I rabbit I am. There you go. I could talk forever, couldn't I? So there we are, darlings. I mean, if you want to know more, I can do another video on it because it is a very complex thing. But this twin flame thing will happen to everybody in time. It's just, a question of getting ready for the matching up and the marriage, called chemical marriage. Okay, darlings, take care. Have a good Easter. God bless.